Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, HaKodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. My name is Caleb from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp. I'm back with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. We're going to jump right into this lesson. So, this is a video that I saw earlier in the week, and it's an example of the terror of the Lord and his judgments and why we need to fear the wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because I'm going to play this news clip, and as you're going to see in it, it shows a young woman who was mauled by dogs and the aftermath of that attack. When I was watching this, all I could think about is the account in the scriptures of the demise of Jezebel, because it says that Jezebel was eaten by dogs. Let me just get a precept on this. Let's get this. 1 Kings chapter 21 and verse 23 says, "And of Jezebel also spake Yahweh, saying, the dogs shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel." There's another one here. 2 Kings 9 and 10. "And the dogs shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled." And as you know, the word of Yahweh doesn't go off out void. It accomplishes the thing whereunto he sent it and will prosper. So it's prophesied that Jezebel will be eaten by dogs. And obviously a lot of times we can read the scriptures, and we can get an understanding of the stories, but to actually see or to be able to visualize in our mind's eye what these things are, it's a whole different story. So let's play this news article, and it should give us an understanding of how dreadful that judgment must have been. Let's play it.
Hour with a horrific tragedy, but it's not about that. Instead, as David Begnaud explains, it's really about strength, love, and hope. All of this after a North Texas woman is attacked while on a dog-sitting job in Coppell.
Jacqueline Duran's face was nearly erased 2 days before Christmas and 1 day before her 22nd birthday. It happened on a dog-sitting trip gone horrifically wrong in the Dallas, Texas suburb of Coppell.
I see her feet right there.
First responder body camera video shows the two dogs who attacked her holding the police at bay, leaving Jacqueline agonizing for help.
We can't make entry because of the dogs.
The dogs, in the instant after she opened the door, were not like the lovely dogs Jacqueline said she had met once before.
Sam, can you hear me? Are you the only one inside? Is the big dog right next to you?
Lucy, a German Shepherd mix, and Bender, a boxer pit bull, pinned her down and tore off her nose, ears, lips, and cheeks to the bone.
So the dogs dragged you from the front door to the living room.
Yes.
What do you remember about where they were attacking you?
My leg, my arm, my face the most. Especially when I felt the skin hanging from my face. I thought I was gonna die.
From the time police arrived, 37 minutes passed before first responders felt safe going in.
Let's go.
A medic rescued Jacqueline and ran out with her. She was rushed to a trauma center in grave condition. She had lost 30% of the blood in her body. It was a blessing, really, that she was even found alive at all. When the dogs rushed her, the door was left open, and that triggered a security alarm at the home of Justin and Ashley Bishop.
Have you had any problems with dogs? Have you ever? Zero.
The Bishops told police the dogs came into their home from rescue organizations.
I have 3 kids, one's 3 years old. No history of violence, none.
But the words crazy dogs on a sign about a sleeping baby hanging on their front door is one indicator of negligence. That is according to a lawsuit filed by Chip Brooker, Jacqueline's attorney.
The warning on the front door to me, I think, suggests that the Bishops knew that both of these dogs had acted aggressively to people arriving at the front door.
You're trying to build this case of negligence. What do you have to prove that?
What we have to prove is an examination of the dogs that we did after this attack, which we believe shows that the dogs were dangerous and had vicious propensities.
The Bishops turned down a request by CBS News for an interview, but in a statement they said they were heartbroken about what happened. The police videos show how cautious officers were even when trying to contain the dogs, particularly Bender. Once at the hospital, emergency surgery lasted for 7 hours before Jacqueline's parents, John and Shirley Duran, heard from one of the doctors.
She had to be resuscitated on the trauma table.
Multiple times.
Describe for me the moment you first saw her after the attack.
I was just glad to see her alive. Her whole face was totally bandaged. They had her in an induced coma for over a week.
Must have been somewhat deceiving because the bandages really covered up the worst of it.
It did.
Exactly.
It really did.
I just kept telling her that she was a miracle and that she was going to be restored. She will be.
When we met Jacqueline...
So look at the aftermath, man. She got messed up big time.
7 weeks after she had been in the hospital, doctors had grafted skin from her buttocks and her forehead to start the process of rebuilding her face.
I feel like I didn't ask for this, so I think that it's time to show who I am now, and I can't be scared of it.
What are you hoping to get across with this interview?
I want for dog owners to know their animals and be able to communicate with their sitters how they are.
These are the same dogs who you had met a week earlier that you said were lovely.
Yeah.
You know, lovely 1 week and killers the next. How do you square the two?
Honestly, I'm speechless. They don't change their attitude from the time that I eat them to the time that I go there for the first time.
Jacqueline was released from the hospital after 60 days. Leaving there was a brave and spirited 22-year-old woman, deserving of the applause that she got from the doctors and nurses. When she got home, first responders gave her a champion's welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Her dogs were even waiting, and so was her boyfriend.
I love you.
Jacqueline doesn't want to be seen as a victim, but rather an example. And that may be why she didn't hide the scars that showed the more than 800 bites on her body.
800 bites. That's mad, man. That's absolutely crazy.
So when I first interviewed you, you could open your mouth about 5 millimeters.
Yes.
Now you're up to 21 millimeters.
Yes.
We've had the benefit of watching you heal over the course of a month, and it is notably different, better. Are you seeing that yourself?
Yeah, I am seeing.
And what does that do just for your own spirits?
I think it really lifts me up compared to where I was.
Yeah.
Because I just felt so helpless in the hospital. And being at home, I knew I was going to heal more here than I could at the hospital.
Therapy is a full-time job now. Her mouth is stretched 1 millimeter at a time so that she can eat more. Countless surgeries are to come.
When you hear 1 to 3 more years of surgeries, is that daunting for you?
It's not fun to think about, but I also think about how amazing the doctors are. And so I'm putting it in their hands to help me. Come on!
You should know that there's a lot of hope in Jacqueline and her family. In fact, in looking to the future, guess what? There is a place in her heart still to love dogs. She'd been dog sitting for 7 years and still dreams of working with animals.
The last we spoke, you mentioned maybe something involving animal welfare?
Yeah. So that's enough about that. But that's the judgment of the Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shalom, man. So let's get this account of Jezebel and her demise. Let me get it. Hold on, bear with me. Bear with me, I'm just pulling it. Here's another precept on it. Not exactly what I want, but it'll lead me to it, Lord willing. 1 Kings 9 and 36. Wherefore they came again and told him and said, This is the word of Yahweh, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, In the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field, in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, This is Jezebel. So that woman had over 800 bites on her body, and she survived. Jezebel didn't survive her demise. Let me get it. Second Kings 9 and 30. Oh, I'm in the chapter already. Second Kings 9 and verse 30, because Jezebel was opposing the prophets, and just being an all-out demon, so the Most High pronounced that judgment upon her. So this is 2 Kings 9, starting at verse 13. It says, And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tied her head and looked out a window. And as Jehu entered in at the gate, he said, Had Zimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, Who is on my side? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, Throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and the horses, and he trod her underfoot. And when he was coming, he did eat and drink, and said, Go now and see this cursed woman and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And when they went to bury her, they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. Wherefore they came again and told him and said, This is the word of Yahweh, which was spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, In the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field, in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, This is Jezebel. So she got eaten by dogs, and all that was left was her skull and her feet and the palms of her hands. She got messed up real bad. So in the modern day, we can see an example of the aftermath of what a dog being mauled by dogs can do. And this woman, the Most High had mercy on her. He spared her life, but she's going to have to go through the rest of her life looking all scarred, and that's gonna be a difficult thing to deal with, because in this world people are very people are very superficial. Things need to look a certain way in order for people to accept them most times. So this is part of her punishment, to have to live like this for the rest of her life. But these stories that were written in the Bible, should be cautionary tales for women on how to behave and how not to behave, because a lot of the women in this society now don't have a fear of God, and they don't look back to the stories in the scriptures to understand how they need to conduct themselves. The Bible says that the things written aforetime are written for our learning. So really, when we read these stories, or when women read these stories, they're supposed to reflect and take heed to the stories so that they don't end up suffering a similar fates as some of the people in the scriptures. You know, there's a key precept which says very simply, remember Lot's wife. Let me get that. Luke 17-32. Simple but effective. It just says, remember Lot's wife. And what happened to Lot's wife? You know, they were commanded to leave the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, Lot, his wife and his 2 daughters. And they were instructed not to look back. And Lot's wife disobeyed that instruction, and she was turned instantly into a pillar of salt. She died on the spot. You know, and those things in the scriptures, you know, Lot's wife, Miriam being cursed with leprosy, and as I read here, the fate of Jezebel, those should be cautionary tales for women. But you know, these women of today, they are moving completely without fear and just doing what they want to do and living according to their own truth, not the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And they're going to reap the recompense of that, because we're coming into a time when judgments such as these are going to become more commonplace, and women are going to be looking for a man to protect them in those days. You know, but yeah, this woman lived, and you know, this should be a cautionary tale for a lot of women, because this could be their fate, you know, in the times to come. And let me get this one. Is it Dogs to Tear? Just finding another precept, bear with me. Jeremiah 15 and verse 3. Let me read from verse 1. Jeremiah 15 and verse 1 says, And then said Yahweh unto me, through Moses and Samuel stood though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people. Cast them out of my sight, and let them go forth. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, Whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, Thus saith the Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as are for sword to sword, and such as are for famine to famine, and such as are for captivity to captivity. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith Yahweh, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. And I will cause them to be removed into all kingdoms of the earth, because of Manasseh the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. But yeah, these are judgments. You know, the sword to slay, dogs to tear, fowls of heaven, and the beasts of earth to devour and to destroy. These are all judgments from the Heavenly Father. And every day his judgment goes forth, you know. So, you know, we need to pray that we stay in the good graces of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and to offend less, that we hopefully don't have to suffer similar judgments as you can see on the screen right here. So that was a grievous judgment, you know. But this girl looks humbled by it. you know. So the Most High didn't kill her, but you know, that's an example of what dogs can do, man. So Lord willing, that was edifying little lesson. So that giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem HaKodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. And I'll catch you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.